Welcome to the class on resistance and support. Right. Now, I want you to have a look at this. Assuming the market is trying to move up from point A to point B, and let's say this is point A to point B, and in an attempt to move upwards, it gets to a point that prevents the movement upwards. Let's assume it came back to point C because it was resisted from going upward to come to point C, and then point C is not able to continue down, and then it goes back to D and we have E. This is an example of market in a range. It goes from one point to the other and then keeps meandering like that. There's no defined direction. Okay, I want to use this to give an illustration and to explain something. Look at point D and F here. Now, these 2 points are points where the market got to and could not break upward. This point was actually first discovered at B here. Okay, now what we have is resistance at this point. Resistance is what you get when price is trying to move up and it is not able to because of a price level. Okay, anytime price is trying to come down for a sell and it's not able to continue the sell or the downward movement because it encountered a price level, that level is called support. So at this point, we can see support. Another way to explain it is a lot of people use this, that when price is going up, it encounters a ceiling. So that ceiling prevents price from going further upwards. That is called resistance. And when price is coming down, okay, and it gets to a particular level that prevents it from going lower, we call it the floor. All right. So resistance can also be looked at or explained as the price ceiling, while support can be explained as price floor. All right. Now, I want to bring this home a little more and explain this using a chart, an example of what a normal chart would look like. So let's look at this. Now, price is trying to move up from here, okay, and it got to this area where price returned. So let's say this is point A. Price got to A and could not continue its upward movement. It retraced back and started a range. Now we can draw a level here. That level becomes resistance now because price could not break above this level. Did you get that? Now if you also look at this, you can also see another level here where price could not break below. So we have a resistance here and we have a support. If I extend this to, if I extend this a lot more, I can label this. Let me label this as 1.2500. Okay, and let me label this as 1.2400. Now these two levels at this point now become my resistance and my support. Now I need to know this about resistance and support. Resistance levels can be broken, support levels can be broken. Now this is what I'm saying. If you have a resistance like this, okay, and something like this, a level that price could not break initially, it will get to a point in time when that level will be broken. Now when a resistance level is broken, it becomes support. How do I mean? Look at this. Price came here, it could not break it. It came back down, it came up. Eventually, it broke it at this level, right? Now, when this level is broken, price is now above that level. Let's call that level K. Now, price being above that level means that the next time price will come to it, it will treat it as support, not as resistance again. Okay? And when price comes back to it at this point, it's treating it as support. And when price gets to support, what happens? It's prevented from going lower. So price has to continue its upward movement, and that is what we have here. So this is a good example of resistance becoming support. Now, when you have this, it's a very good tool to help you in placing your trade. So what we usually do is this. If you have a resistance point that is broken, you wait for price to come back to that level. Once price gets to that level, you want to be buying from that level. Okay, so resistance broken is converted to support, and then the test of that support is a good point to buy. That's an example of resistance becoming support. Okay, now let's look at support becoming resistance, just the opposite of that. So we have price trying to break a level which it couldn't break, and then it comes back at some point and then breaks that level. The next thing is price is now below that level. So if price retests this level or comes back to it, it's going to treat it as resistance now, not as support. Now, the typical thing is when price gets to resistance, what happens? It's not able to continue its upward movement, so it will sell. And so we have a good point to sell here. So that's how we use resistance and support. Resistance can become support, and support can become resistance. I need to understand the interplay between those two levels and how we use them in trading. Okay, now so this is an example of resistance and support in a ranging market. When price is trending, we explained that before, that we're going to have higher highs and then lower highs. Higher highs and lower highs. So for uptrend, we have higher highs. For downtrend, we have lower lows. Okay? Lower lows and lower highs, right? So I would want you to know that in a range, we can have resistance and support. In a trend, we can also have resistance and support levels. So let me show you how we can draw resistance and support levels in a trending market. Look at this. We can see the price broke, and we have a high here, retested this level, and then came back up. So we have a higher high here, right? And then we have high retracement, high. Okay, so this is an upward trend, right? So we can look for our resistance and support levels at this point. The first point we can pick is this, because the price came to this point, it could not go further, and then it retraced. Now at this point, we can draw our resistance for this upward movement. Okay, now when price rejected that level, it came back and it got to this point, which it could not go below, turned back, and then went up to give us higher high. Okay, this point is our support for that trending market. So this becomes our resistance for that trending market. This becomes our resistance for that trending market, and this becomes our support for that trending market. So what you want to do is to be able to pick those levels as the market is going, and then it helps you to analyze and see how you can use it. Now, I'll give you a very good example of this. So we had price going up, it came and then formed a resistance point here. Now, when price came back to this level, it could not break, it turned and now broke this resistance level. Can you see this? This was broken. And remember, resistance can become support and support can become resistance. So the next time price visits this level, how it's going to be treated as support. And that's what we have here. So price came, tested it as support, and this is a good point to buy. So this is how to use resistance and support in a trending market. So when you're in a trending market and price comes back to a level that has been broken, that's a good point to buy in the direction of the trend. The price is going up here. So if this level is broken, converted to support, this is a good place to buy because we're in an uptrending market. The same thing for downtrend. If the market is coming down, we have support. All right, so we have a support here, a level that was not broken. Now, by the time price comes back and breaks that level, it ceases to become support. It ceases to be a support. It now becomes a resistance. So we expect that if price is able to come back to this level, it will be a good point to sell. That's how we use resistance and support in ranging markets and in trending markets. I also want you to understand the fact that resistance and support are not fixed or exact numbers. It's usually a range, because sometimes you can have a range, say 1.2500 to 1.2550. That can be a range of price where you have your resistance. So please note that. Don't be deceived to think that it's just an exact number. It could vary. So usually in our analysis, we want to find that range where price is a support, and then the price range where price is resistance. Now, these are basic things that you need to understand with your trading. These are foundational, and it's on these things that we build as we begin to trade. Resistance and support, ceiling and floor, right? You can have your resistance and support levels drawn in ranging markets, and you can have it drawn in trending market. When resistance is broken, it becomes support, and when support is broken, it becomes resistance. And lastly, I said resistance levels are not fixed levels. It's usually a range. So you want to pick the range when you're trading, and that is what we have for resistance and support. We'll go to the chart now to show you that, so that you can see how it really looks on the live chart when we are trading the market. See you when we get there. Thank you.